everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Physical Media. I am your host, John. This is the weekly news show where you guessed it, we talk about all the news in the world of physical media. And it wasn't a crazy news week this week, but there was some pretty noteworthy stories out there is the best way to say this, because the big thing that everyone's been talking about this week is the Nightmare on Elm Street 7 film collection coming to 4K Blu-ray and 4K Steelbook. Now this week we got some leaked artwork because there was a I think it was a French pre-order put up and they had some artwork out for it, which kind of reminded me of like the old Blu-ray and DVD artwork from like back in the day. Maybe it was just DVD, but it kind of reminded me of that, so it kind of looked like it was AI generated. And then Blu-ray.com listed what was supposedly the standard edition 7 film collection, and it just looked absolutely atrocious. And luckily, everyone pretty much pushed back on this. I didn't see a single soul out there who liked this artwork. And it's funny that it kind of got past like Blu-ray.com and a lot of people, because from what I understand, people have reached out to Warner Brothers and WB has said the artwork is not official yet. There is no official artwork. Now, the reason why people believe that this artwork was real is because Warner Brothers has like saddled us with some of the worst artwork of all time, alternate artwork, because they just, for some reason, refuse to put their movie posters on their 4K Blu-ray releases. I have no idea why. I felt like last year, The Terminator, my favorite film, would have benefited so much more if they would have just used the classic original movie poster, and they do this all the time. The Sean Connery 6 films 4K collection that came out, the standard edition, in my opinion, that artwork is a joke. You could argue that looks like it's AI generated. I mean, it doesn't scream James Bond to me. James Bond just doesn't have these all these big poppy colors. I have a theory that the reason why the standard artwork has been pretty bad lately is they're trying to push you towards their steelbooks, because they charge a little bit extra for that, and it probably doesn't cost that much more. I feel like they're making a lot of money as it is, but they're trying to guide you towards those 4K steelbooks that they have coming out. So I wouldn't be surprised if the regular artwork for the Nightmare on Elm Street collection actually does still turn out to be pretty bad. Hopefully they got the feedback and they actually listen and they don't give us bad artwork for the standard editions, but I'm gonna have to guess and be honest with you guys, and in my opinion, we're probably gonna get some pretty shitty artwork because it is WB, and I can't remember the last time they really gave us some good artwork for like a standard edition. Now their steelbooks, that's a different story, because sometimes they do give us a really nice 4K steelbook. I thought all the Clint Eastwood 4K steelbooks that came out earlier this year were really good. And to tie into that, there was also a posting on Amazon for the 7 film collection in 4K steelbooks in a steelbook library, which is exactly what this Sean Connery 4K steelbook collection is. So it's basically going to be the exact same thing, because it listed it having a proof of authenticity card, which is exactly what this film has. So it's probably going to be in this exact same housing with their own individual steelbooks. It also said it's going to have 3D glasses, which makes sense. Freddy's Dead, that was a 3D film of the time, so it's pretty cool they would pack those in there as well. And for me, no matter what, as long as I can afford it, I'm going to be getting that steelbook collection with the steelbook housing. For me, that's definitely probably worth the money, just because I truly love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I love all the films in there, even though, obviously to varying degrees, some are really bad, but sometimes they're so bad they're good. I absolutely love Freddy's Dead, so I'm looking forward to that one so much on 4K Blu-ray. The original is a classic. Dream Warriors, I think, gets pretty close to the original, which is really saying something. I'd love to revisit too. Usually I watch it every few years and go, yeah, I still don't like that one. But, 4 and 5 have their moments. I think Dream Child's probably the worst of them. But again, New Nightmare's great, and Freddy's Dead's Freddy's Dead. I really will go to bat for Freddy's Dead just because it's just such a bad movie, but it's so freaking enjoyable, so I always recommend that. So for me, I'll get the steelbooks as long as I can afford it. I just don't expect the standard edition artwork to be that good. It just won't be as bad as that artwork that is out there. I hope so. I hope that, WB has come to their senses and realized, you know what, maybe we should put a little bit more effort into the artwork, because people are really starting to complain and it's getting a little bit ridiculous. Just put some effort in, It doesn't have to be the world's greatest artwork, but it doesn't have to look like you just passed it on to an intern who put it through AI, and whatever it spit out, he's like, looks fine to me. Let's send it out to the world. And they just ignore what everyone's complaining about. But I guess, hey, that's Warner Brothers. David Zaslav is still the head of Warner Discovery, if they're still called Warner Discovery, because, HBO Max has had its third name change. It's back to HBO Max again, guys. So I don't know. Sometimes whatever they're doing over there at WB, it just confuses the hell out of me. And, they're not the most consumer friendly. But I can't knock them too much at the current time, because they have been giving us some good 4K Blu-ray Blu-ray, so you got to give credit where credit is due. But that was the big news story this week. We also did get some 4K Blu-ray announcements, some official 4K Blu-ray announcements. The big one being Bring Her Back, which I saw earlier this year. This came from the two YouTube directors. Let me get their names. Danny and Michael Filippo. Those are the same two directors who directed Talk to Me, and I thought Talk to Me was one of the best horror films in the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Thought that movie was great. Loved their camera work. I like how lighthearted it was, despite the fact that they were dealing with some really dark subject matter and really dealing with grief. Well, they doubled down on the grief aspect with Bring Her Back and really kind of sucked any of that lighthearted nature about Talk to Me out of that kind of movie. Now, is it fair to compare Bring Her Back to Talk to Me? Probably not, but when this is your second film and your first film was so good, you're naturally going to compare the second film to that. And, I thought Bring Her Back was a very well-made movie. It's a fantastic film. It is one of the best films of 2025. It's just, that's a kind of movie that's going to be very hard to rewatch, even though I really do appreciate that movie and everything that they were going for. Sally Hawkins gives a heartbreaking performance in that movie. It's just not one I'm going to be like, maybe I'll throw Bring Her Back on like I would probably with Talk to Me. But I am excited to see this getting the 4K Blu-ray treatment from A24 because they don't always give all their films the 4K Blu-ray treatment. That very same month, Friendship is going to be coming out, and Friendship is only going to be getting the Blu-ray treatment. And I'm not too sure how the box office comparison for the two of them is, but I know Bring Her Back didn't make as much money as they were expecting. I know Friendship definitely didn't make as much money as they were expecting, but I just thought maybe box office is what determined what comes to Blu-ray and what comes to 4K Blu-ray. But I don't know. There seems to be, I can't really put it all together. It's weird that Friendship would get the Blu-ray and Bring Her Back would get the 4K Blu-ray. Not that Bring Her Back is a beautiful looking movie and it should get the 4K Blu-ray treatment. If I was going to pick one of the two, absolutely Bring Her Back should come to 4K Blu-ray because, again, it's just a beautiful looking movie and it probably will translate very well to 4K Blu-ray. So that's going to be coming out in August as well. And believe it or not, at the end of this month, The Phoenician Scheme, this is the latest film from Wes Anderson, which I think just hit theaters last month, is already going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray at the end of this month. Because, a lot of Wes Anderson films, like I said, he's very niche. He's very much an art tour. You have to really like his vision, and if you can't get behind what Wes Anderson's doing, you're not probably going to like any of his films, just because he's got that dollhouse look, the way that his characters deliver dialogue, very quirky. It just might not fit everyone's style, and clearly not everyone runs out to see these movies at the box office because it didn't make that much money, and I'm going to guess that's why it's coming to physical media so soon. But it is getting the 4K Blu-ray treatment, which is very different from the last film that he did, Asteroid City, which I think is still stuck on Blu-ray, which drives me crazy because, now we're going to be getting Isle of Dogs and The French Dispatch on 4K Blu-ray. We'll have all of his films on 4K except for Asteroid City. But The Phoenician Scheme is also going to be the first Wes Anderson film to feature Dolby Atmos. And that's something that's pretty unexpected and surprising. I'm actually surprised that he's never had a Dolby Atmos track. The last couple of films you would think that maybe one would be attached to it. I get Asteroid City, and actually that would have made a lot of sense for Asteroid City, and even for The French Dispatch, so I'm kind of surprised at that. But hey, that movie is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray July 29th at the very end of this month. July 29th, looking like another packed day. They like to load us up at the very end of the month before, we kind of start the beginning of the next month a little bit slow. The first 2 weeks of August, other than Sunset Boulevard coming to 4K Blu-ray, they don't look like the greatest weeks. Then we really pick it up at the very end of August. Of course, same thing happens here in July. We got a lot coming to 4K Blu-ray in the coming weeks, and you can just add The Venetian Scheme to that list. We haven't really talked about it, but Karate Kid's Legends came out earlier this year in theaters, and we're going to be getting a 6-film Karate Kid collection. And I know people absolutely love the Karate Kid. I can't say I'm a big fan of the franchise overall. I like the original Karate Kid. Karate Kid 2 is, it's pretty good. Then 3 is like, and then I did not like the remake. I haven't seen Legends yet, so, maybe I should check that out. I know that people love Cobra Kai, but, for me, it really is just the first movie. I really enjoyed the first movie. I'm not really somebody who's very interested in karate, despite the fact I made it to yellow belt twice when I was a kid. That's one of my big achievements. So, but I was just never the world's biggest Karate Kid fan overall. Obviously, the first one's just good because it's a very good film, and, it's a classic of the 1980s. But I can't say I'm somebody who truly enjoys the entire franchise, but clearly a lot of people do, and you're going to be able to get a beautiful collection. There's a couple of different versions coming out for this as well, like I think some might be exclusive to Amazon. I'm not 100% sure, but this is definitely something that's pretty cool for the fans out there. So if you're a Karate Kid fan, get excited. This is coming out actually pretty damn soon. Then the last bit of news we're going to be talking about is one of the great films of the 1960s. The Graduate is going to be getting a 4K Blu-ray release from Studio Canal on September 15th. This will obviously be a UK only release. But this scan should come to the United States through the Criterion Collection, I imagine, sometime in the fall. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets like an October or November announcement. We'll have to wait and see. But that's my best guess. Usually if Studio Canal does the transfer, it eventually gets a US release within a couple of months. Could be Lionsgate. I'm not entirely sure. We'll just have to wait and see on this one. Either way, or it should get a US release. I haven't seen The Graduate in years, so I kind of want to grab the Studio Canal version. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger, spend that much money, and then we get like a cheaper US release, and I spent all that money. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I'm very happy that The Graduate is getting a 4K Blu-ray release. It absolutely deserves it. Like I said, one of the best films of the 1960s. And I can say that even though I've said it a million times, I'm not the world's biggest Dustin Hoffman fan. But the guy does pop up in a ton of classic films. We still need Midnight Cowboy to come to 4K Blu-ray as well. I expect that pretty soon through the Criterion Collection also, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But hey, we're here talking Graduate, and The Graduate will be coming to 4K Blu-ray through Studio Canal, and we'll just have to wait and see about that US release. But that's going to do it here for the news this week. What did you guys think? Are you guys excited for the Nightmare on Elm Street collection? Are you going to be getting the regular Blu-ray version? Are you going to be getting the regular standard 4K version? Or get the Amazon exclusive 4K Steelbook collection in the Steelbook housing? What are they calling that? A Steelbook library or something like that? I don't know. They just made up a new word for it. Which version will you be getting? Do you even like the Nightmare on Elm Street series? Let me know in the comment section below. While you guys are down there, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. We also have channel membership, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like Ben Rondo and John Doe Juggalo, you can do that. Or you can even become a channel director like Nicholas Head, Uncle V, Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Stone Gasman, and Kevin Kruger. You can bump it up to the bankroll tier like Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, guys, if you have no money to throw my way, don't worry about it. I just hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, get out those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.